Congrats! So since you made it to this video, that means that you have now figured out how to get materials, how to pass them out, put them away properly, and handle paints and brushes properly. So we can go ahead and just dive into getting to work. So the first thing we are going to work on is getting familiar with not only what color theory is, but also how to properly mix colors that we may want to use when we eventually create our paintings. So all of you have a color wheel worksheet, and we are going to use paint to fill this out. So there are different kinds of paper. There's painting paper, which is real thick and can take a lot of paint. There's drawing paper, which is a little thicker than regular paper, but not as strong as painting paper. That is what you did your practice paintings on when we were just learning how to use paint. Then there is computer paper, or copy paper, which is kind of the thinnest of those three papers and can't take a whole bunch of paint. That's what we're working on with this worksheet. So please consider the space that you're filling in with paint, not very big, and also the thickness of paper, not very thick. So you are going to want to be very frugal or not use a lot of paint. You're not filling a lot of space, and it's not paper that can take a lot of paint anyways, so please be conservative. So let's start with our primary colors. So you can see down here on the worksheet that primary colors are the big circles right here, and those are yellow, blue, and red. Those are our primary colors. Those are the colors of paint you have. So you can go ahead and fill those in. Dip in your water, just a little bit of paint. I'm going to start out with yellow. Remember, again, hey, you're just lightly tapping somebody on the shoulder. Try and use up all the paint that you put down. Use a little more. Grabbing a little bit of water to help me kind of pull the paint. Water's your friend here. You don't always need paint if the paint is not moving anymore. Water helps it expand or go further too. So there's my yellow. Perfect. Remember to clean off your brush and use your paper towel to pinch the brush and take any excess color off. You can see a little bit of yellow there. And then we can move on to, let's do blue. So just dip a little bit of blue. Again, try and use all the paint you put down before moving on to another color. Always go with the bristles of the brush like you're petting a very fragile small animal like a bunny. You're never pushing down hard with the bristles to where they make a different shape than what they look like at rest. You can always use water to pull the paint more. Perfect. All right, clean your brush. If this is taking longer in the class than it is on the video, that's fine. Obviously, we can pause it for you. So just let Mr. B know. Brush is clean. Red, our third and final primary color. Just a little bit of paint. Use everything that you have. Pet the paper like a bunny. Go with the bristles, not against them. Keep in mind we have thin paper, so we're not using a lot of paint. Perfect. That'll do. So now you can clean off your brush and we can move on to secondary colors. This means colors that are mixed from two primary colors coming together. So let's start with our yellow and blue. When they get together, they make green. Notice on all the secondary colors and tertiary colors, which we'll talk about later, they all sort of have a little combo down here, a recipe underneath the circle to let you know how much paint to add of each color. So all caps means more of that color, An undercase means less of that color. So for example, on green, yellow is in all caps, while blue is in lowercase. That means you will add more yellow and you will add than you will blue to your mixture to make green. As a class, you can raise your hand. Why do you think we use more yellow than we use blue to make green? Any guesses? Give you a second for that. Great, so the answer is blue is a much deeper, richer color, and it sort of takes over something a lot more quickly than yellow can. Like black. If you add black paint to something, that color automatically goes black or really dark really quick because black is super, super dense and dark. You may notice that we don't have black in our palette, and that's because we are going to learn how to darken colors without using black because it does swallow up colors so much. But we'll deal with that on our next lesson. For now, just focus on mixing yellow and blue. So I'm going to put down some yellow on my plate. Not a whole bunch. You don't need to mix a bunch of this. Again, look at the amount of space that you're going to be painting. You don't need to make a whole heap of paint for that little amount of space. Always keep in mind how much space you actually need to paint and mix the right amount of paint accordingly. So I'm cleaning out my brush, getting all the yellow off of it. Then I can dip into blue. Remember, less blue than yellow. Ooh, sorry. That was not a very good view. There we go. Less blue than yellow. Cool. There's a green. It's still kind of a yellow green. So I'm going to, even though I really want to just jump in and get a little more blue real quick, I'm going to clean off my brush, dip into the blue, a little more, maybe a little more. There we go. There's the kind of green I'm looking for. Not bluey, not yellowy, just a good old grass green. Okay. Then you can go ahead and fill in your green circle. Keeping in mind our rules about how much paint to use so our paper doesn't get ripped or take forever to dry. Perfect. All right, so let's move on to violet, which is a mixture of blue and red. So notice how it says red in all caps and blue in lowercase, meaning more red than blue. Again, because blue is just kind of a deep color and can take over pretty quickly. So my brush is clean. I'm going to lay down some red on my plate first. Try and make sure I get all the paint off my brush before rinsing it off so I'm not wasting any paint. Cleaning my brush. And I can dip into the blue. I'm pretty happy with that purple. Looks good. It's important to make sure all the paint is thoroughly mixed so there aren't streaks of two colors in a color that you intend to be a single color. So for example, I make sure that all my red and all my blue are thoroughly mixed together here, so there's not going to be any red or blue streaks when I'm trying to make violet. It's pretty purple. Cool. Clean off your brush. We're going to move on to orange. And orange is when red and yellow get to know one another. Okay. And underneath orange it says yellow, more yellow than red, because yellow is a pretty light color. So pretty much anything will take over yellow really quick. Clean off my brush. I'm just going to add the tiniest bit of red. See, that's still... that looks orange. Yeah. It's about all the orange I mixed, so I'm going to try and rely on water to help me get the whole circle filled. Perfect, that worked. Great, so now we have our primary and secondary colors. Y'all are in 4th grade, so you can take the time to learn tertiary colors too. Let me say that again. Tertiary, which means 3 or like third colors. Tertiary colors are colors that you get when you mix a primary color, so for example yellow, with a secondary color, for example green. And depending on y'all are in 4th grade, so we can take the time to learn tertiary colors or third colors. And tertiary colors are when you mix a primary color, so for example yellow, and a secondary color, green. When you mix the two together, you'll get a yellow-green. So green that's more on the yellow side than it is on the blue side. If you mix blue and green together, you'll get a blue-green. So it's a green that's more on the blue side than it is on the yellow side. So these also have a recipe for you. So yellow-green says more yellow than green. So you're going to have to mix green again and have that ready. Or if there's some green left from when you mixed it earlier, you can use that. And you're going to mix more yellow. So I'm going to put down yellow with green. So I still have a little bit of green left, it looks like. So I'm going to take that green, put it in the yellow I just put on my plate, and now I have a nice yellow-green. So a green that's more yellow than it is blue. Cool. Alright, clean off my brush. Now a blue-green, so that is a green that is more blue than yellow. So I still have a little bit of green left. I'm going to take a little bit of blue, green that I had left over, mix them together. Perfect. Nice blue-green. Just a little bit of water. Barely any paint is needed to fill these little circles, so don't be mixing a huge amount. Cool. Blue-violet. So the recipe is equal amounts blue as violet. So I still have some violet on my paper. I'm going to pick up some blue, mix some of that violet with the blue. Oh yeah, blue-violet. So more blue than red. Then a red-violet, so more red than blue. It's equal amount red, equal amount violet. And take some red, set on my plate. Take some of that violet I had mixed earlier, put it on the red, and make a little batch of red-violet. Just got a little moisture there. Cool. So here we have red-orange. Equal amount red and equal amount orange. I don't have any orange left on my plate, so I'm going to have to remix some. Remember, orange is yellow first, then red. So I'm going to put my yellow down, clean off my brush. My water is starting to get a little gunky, and if that's happening to yours, you can go ahead and dump it out in your bucket and then go get yourself some more water in your caddy from the sink. A little bit of red. So there's my orange. I made a batch of it. I'm going to keep some orange to make my yellow orange. So I'm going to move some over here to my plate to make my red orange with. Clean off my brush. And get some more red. So I've made a red orange. Beautiful. Clean off my brush. Take some yellow. Tap a little bit of that orange into it that I made. Got a nice yellow orange. Perfect. So now you have a color wheel. Out of just 3 colors, you've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 colors that you can work with. If you want any of these colors to lighten up, so for example, like red, it's simply red. Clean off my brush. And white. Ta-da! You now have pink. Can do even more white. So with just these 4 colors, even though they seem real basic, just primary colors and white, you can mix everything that you'll need to create successful pieces. So good job on this lesson. Focus on finishing up what you still need to on this color wheel, and then we will move on to learning how to make colors darker using these primary colors and white next lesson.